whether it's a charge or a block or a deflection that was wrong, or a foul that should have been called that wasn't called, or vice versa. Give me a 48-minute report. And people that will understand that there's so many mistakes that the referees make over the course of the game that referees, ready folks, don't decide the outcome.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer, too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I look, I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
With the onset of NIL and the transfer portal, it is allowing players to develop further in college, and guys that would maybe be stuck on the bench at a power program and not have as much shine are having the ability to find themselves in the spotlight.
Lane Kiffin came out and said we need to get bigger and more physical in terms of the offensive defensive lines, and that's why he went out and recruited that talent.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
And now you have to qualify in these majors. You got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships.
Mm-hmm.
So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
Welcome in. Game Time Decisions live right here on SportsGrid. 6 o'clock on this Thursday, East Coast time, no doubt. Kevin Walsh with you here, and we have Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals, thankfully. I mean, listen, there's still plenty to get to tonight. Couple of baseball games, NHL postseason action, WNBA card. You got to appreciate a little extra hoop. We're a week away from the NBA Finals beginning. If the Mavs can close out this series tonight, we'll be thankful that at least we had this game tonight. As somebody who bet the Mavs to win the West, I wouldn't have complained had they ended it, but we have a road wins postseason total over, and we're being a little extra greedy. We're going to break down that game tonight. Before we do that, we'll go quick pick style here in the W. It's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. It's Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever plus 5.5. I think this is a great spot to back the Fever, catching as many points at home against the Storm as they did on the road against this same Storm. The Indiana Fever and their 1-7 start, I think, have seen a lot of people start to drop off this team, and I think it's now started to shift some numbers. But let's not forget, this is a Fever team that started to heat up against the number, covering 4 in a row. And then they lost to Vegas on the second leg of a back-to-back, which was a nightmarish spot. And they dropped this home game against L.A., which was only the second time this year we've seen this Fever booked as a favorite. The other time was against this same LA Sparks team. Again, for Indiana to reach a high level, yes, they should be able to beat the Sparks twice, and certainly beat the Sparks at home. But we look back when they played Seattle on the road, and that was a 2-point loss. Flipping home court here, I think the Fever are alive. I think the 5.5 points is a nice piece of business. And again, this is a team that has stayed inside that number a few times and still lost the basketball game. So I like the Indiana Fever here, plus 5.5. The other game on the W card tonight is Sparks Sky. We'll get into that a little bit later on. But let's talk Minnesota and Dallas, as many are thinking, ooh, we have a series. Now, that is not being backed up in the market, which I find really interesting. It appears more the talking heads, I don't say that as a slight, are suggesting Minnesota is set to rip this game off here at home, protect home court advantage, cash minus 198 money lines, and force a sixth game. The betting public right now, at least according to a FanDuel Sportsbook percentage here, is on Dallas. 80% of the spread bets on the Mavs, which I think is understandable. Again, Dallas is up 3-1 in this series. They've won both games in Minnesota so far. Also, this game staying inside the 5 wouldn't be a surprise. Especially when this number was at 5.5. 2 of the 4 games have been decided by 5 or less points. It has been a close competitive, 3 of the 4 games have been decided by 5 or less points, and all single digits. So betting Dallas tonight on the spread, while you have to believe they're certainly live to win this basketball game, you could cross the finish line on that bet, and this game still go Minnesota's direction. And if I were betting a side here, I would also be betting the Dallas Mavericks. No public number is going to scare me off. Because one thing Dallas has in their favor right now is an incredibly strong trend that is true in this whole postseason of them and the team that's already in the NBA Finals of the Boston Celtics, which is the Mavericks have not lost back-to-back games. It's how, despite losing game 1 in each of the first 2 rounds, this team is here in the Western Conference Finals up 3-1. You can't beat them 2 in a row. Now, what shines on Minnesota here, and because I wouldn't mind betting Dallas, even though I have them to win this basketball game, which would cash the Western Conference Final future, I wouldn't mind to double down at minimum on that point spread, right? But there's something holding me back from fading Minnesota, which I discussed when Minnesota was going into Game 6 against Denver, which is the Timberwolves losing all their home games in a series. If you look back to the series against Denver, we saw Minnesota go up 2-0, return home, and lose 2 straight. There was only 1 game left in Minnesota in that series. It was Game 6, and they won by 45 points. If Minnesota does not win this game here, they will have lost every game in this series at home, despite having a 30-11 home record in these playoffs, or in the regular season. And in the playoffs, while I know they lost 2 of the 3 against Denver, they also won both of the home games they played against the Phoenix Suns in covering somewhat dominant fashion. So I find the side tricky. I think that this is now an up-and-down series here, which is why you'll notice my approach tonight is to play some combinations. The stars are dictating a lot of what we're seeing. There's other intricacies, no doubt about it, within Minnesota and Dallas. But you can look at the Kyrie numbers. You can look at the Cat numbers. You can look at the Luka numbers. You can look at the Ant numbers. And you can get a pretty good idea of what the final score looks like as to who came out and won that basketball game. So let's start with Anthony Edwards and Luka Doncic over 58.5 points, which is, if you gave me just one bet, it would be the bet I make. Minus 114 juice. If we take a look at their points props tonight, 29.5 for Luka. Those numbers have been bet up to 30.5. Anthony Edwards' 28.5 have been bet down to 27.5. But if you add those props, you get a 58 flat. So tacking on the hook is good for me, because I feel that either guy here tonight could get to a 35-point spot. That's a plus 210 Luka straight if you want it. It's a plus 390 Anthony Edwards straight if you want it. Because both guys have bounce-back opportunities, specifically Luka, who I am trusting as the anchor of this bet. Luka's 28-point performance in Game 4 is his worst scoring effort all season long against Minnesota. In the prior 3 games, he has scored 33, 32, and 33. You can go back into the regular season where Luka Doncic was giving you 34 and 39 in 2 regular season games against Minnesota. So Luka for 30 is something that, again, you can take as straight action off of a 33% field goal shooting game. If Luka tonight can check 50% from the field, get hot from beyond the arc, you should be able to cash this bet no problem, because Anthony Edwards so far in this series has now been able to find that 20-point marker with more consistency. 19 game 1, but since 21, 26, 29, he's starting to go up. I've talked a lot about the inefficiency of Anthony Edwards. Talked about it, it feels like, before anyone. because it was obvious heading into this series. But I said at some point I would still expect Ant to have a great game. Has Anthony Edwards had a great game? He's had good games. Pretty good games. 26-9-9, 26-10-9 in the last two. He can't crack 50% from the field. If he finally can here at home, he could give us 35 tonight. And again, Luka then will do enough to make sure we're not left at the table. That's combo number one. Combo number two is on the other star grouping of Kyrie Irving and Karl Anthony Towns, with a bounce-back spot in line for Kyrie and Cat having the potential to keep a hot hand. If you look, by the way, and just play these guys each for 2+ threes in a parlay, that right now on one book pays out at -123 odds, which would get you to 4 made threes. I'm looking to go over 4.5 made threes, which would be a 50-50 bet so far in these playoffs. This bet was a winner last game, despite Kyrie just making one. His night was 1 of 6 from the field. I like Kyrie to get to 3 tonight, if not 4. But I like Karl Anthony Towns as well, because while he was 4 of 5 with brilliant efficiency, he dropped off in volume due to foul trouble. If we get 8 attempts tonight from Cat, we can get through our number. The last pick is on P.J. Washington over the 11.5 in a clear bounce-back spot for P.J. here with the closeout on the line. It's a quick break. We're right back with more Game Time Decisions.
And now you have to qualify, and these majors, you got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships. So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
Using the parlays against one another, right, and being able to get a little bit of juice consig, I found to be a little interesting.
Believe me, all the rhombuses and parallelograms are constantly trying to search and find out those things every day. It's one of the battles that you know, as you expand the menu, you encounter new battles.
Game Time Decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I look, I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Back to the right here at SportsGrid's Game Time Decisions on this Thursday night. Kevin Walsh with you. And the Major League Baseball board, as typical for a Thursday, has already seen a number of games come to its conclusion. Brewers take down the Cubs, who are reeling and now under 500. Minnesota takes another off of Kansas City, who's hit a little bit of a bump in the road. Rays in extras in 12 take down the Athletics, and then we're live right now in Seattle, where the Astros are closing in on another win here, or a win here, I should say, against the Mariners. Up 4-0 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Still remaining, Mets, D-backs, Red Sox, Tigers, Braves, Nats, and then Angels, Yankees. We'll put the picks on the board because then I do want to talk just a tick big picture with the time that we have Major League Baseball. I thought there were some big doings on a Wednesday slate. And I'm looking to New York for my baseball action. The Mets and the Yanks games really drew my eye. Firstly, a little Mets money line here. Controversy around this team. Jorge Lopez DFA'd after some comments that he has since sent out a statement on, saying that an attempt to speak in English caused his words to get mixed. I don't think it is really worth getting into. I think this is a Mets team where everybody's aware it's not going great. They had a brief moment, too, which is so fascinating, in what has already been a small window into the Major League Baseball season, where they had a lot of momentum, and it's just dropped in horrific fashion. Edwin Diaz is one of the most fascinating contracts you'll ever see, I feel, or performances relative to a contract and all that, with what he's been for the Mets. I mean, he came over awful, then he was unbelievable. Then he gets hurt in the World Baseball Classic, and then he gets, or Olympics, right, playing for his country, and then just a disaster again. It's been such a road for Edwin Diaz. With all that said, give me the Mets on the money line here. If you know me, you know I don't mind fading Zach Gallen on the road. Mets at a plus price with Scott on the mound, who's certainly got some juice for this team here. And the Mets, look, some of these losses, they're so gut-wrenching, but at some point they're going to pull themselves off of the mat, and I think at a plus price at home, I'm willing to get involved here. So give me the New York Mets on that money line, and I'll let people know, in case you're in the mix with these, I am on the Mets at plus 102. There is better out there, but I use the up 2 boost, which is a treat. Quite frankly, I used that actually yesterday in a Mets-Dodgers game on the Dodgers, and while the Dodgers did win, a 2-0 lead eventually turned into a 3-3 ball game, irrelevant. So that's a fun little piece of action. If you are daily baseball money line better, I don't see why you wouldn't get involved. And then the Yanks game tonight here with the Angels hosting, and I'm on under 8.5. Look, the Carlos Rodon leg of this probably shouldn't be a difficult sell, and I don't think it is, so I'll try and sell you on the Patrick Sandoval, end of it, which is a bounce-back spot here for Sandoval. Last outing against the Guardians gave up 8 earned in just 3 2/3 innings, but if we look at the blow-up games, and that's now his third, I would say blow-up, I guess it all depends, right? But his bad games, 3 games of 4 or more earned runs. He had one against Cincinnati where he gave up 7. Next game, it was 3 earned. And then he had one against Kansas City where he gave up 4. And then the next game was just 1 earned run. And now here he gave up 8. I think we can get 2 to 3 earned runs tonight on Sandoval. Rodon pitched really well. And this is something like a 4-2 Yankees victory here to close things out in this series with the LA Angels. I'm looking under that 8.5 at minus 102 juice. So I said some big doings in Major League Baseball that I wanted to bring up for people here. And I'll do the Corey Seager one quickly, which is just stop pitching to Corey Seager. Seager, like a few other stars around this league, a slow start, has more than figured it out. It feels like this guy hits a home run in every single game, which for an 8-game run, he had put up 8 home runs. He has just been absolutely brilliant for this baseball team, and there's a fun conversation to have around the American League MVP that I feel at the moment it's perhaps a little too early to have, just because I'm not sure there's any number that really caught my eye that we need to run to. But there's a lot of names in the mix already. There's 5 guys under a 6-1 or less. That's Soto, Judge, Bobby Witt, Gunnar Henderson, and Kyle Tucker. And then you have a guy like Jose Ramirez at 20-1 who's been awesome and is always awesome. And now here comes Corey Seager, pedigree player, reigning World Series MVP, swinging the hot stick, and all of a sudden now he gets right into this race as well. That American League MVP race just looks like it's going to be incredible. And the same is true now of the NL Cy Young race. Excuse me. Well, yes, but the NL Rookie of the Year race. I mentioned wanting to bet the Imanaga number at even money before it was too late. And I think we then saw minus 135 at one point as a peak. Well, now we're back to plus 120. And you would have thought, ooh, here comes Yamamoto. Yamamoto is the third choice. A plus 700 number is actually back down to plus 550, but splitting the 2 stars is Paul Skeens. And Skeens has been better than expected. I don't know. Everything that was promised, probably. Ks per 9, 12.3. I guess it's just that simple. He will just lead Major League Baseball in Ks per 9 as soon as he comes up. He had one of his 4 starts, a 3-strike outing, which you would think would be really damaging, and it's just not mattered at all. In his other 3 starts, he struck out 27 batters across just 16 innings of work. It's 30 strikeouts in 22 innings of work. Now, Imanaga had to do something to open this door, and he did with his first actual bad outing. He had no bad outings prior to that. Everything was 2 earned or less. A lot of shutout baseball from Imanaga. It's why his ERA is still under a 2. But 4 1/3, 8 hits, 7 earned against the Milwaukee Brewers changes things a bit. And this was my worry and why I didn't know if I wanted to play Imanaga at the short number. Not just being a pitcher. But Paul Skeens is every time he starts, you're going to get 3 to 5 tweets about it from everybody around this league to make sure you know about it. And he's worthy as well. The thought was Skeens was starting at too much of a deficit. Well, not if he's just going to come in and strike out 175 batters in three-fifths of a season. This guy's been unbelievable, and it's changed the market quite some bit. Taking a break, we'll be right back here on Game Time Decision.
And now you have to qualify, and these majors, you got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships. So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
Using the parlays against one another, right, and being able to get a little bit of juice consig, I found to be a little interesting.
Believe me, all the rhombuses and parallelograms are constantly trying to search and find out those things every day. It's one of the battles that you know, as you expand the menu, you encounter new battles.
Game Time Decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I look, I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Back right here, Game Time Decisions. Let's talk a little NHL. Let's talk a little WNBA. I think, had maybe a technical issue there. Maybe it was just me on the back end. But just to quickly close out, the NL Rookie of the Year race is going to be really competitive. I understand if you want to run right now to a Skeens or Yamamoto number, it's tough. It feels like you've probably missed the best of the Skeens market. You're getting the best numbers you've seen on Yamamoto right now. I think, if anything, it just reinforces the reason I wanted to hold off on Imanaga. Still the favorite, right? If you bet him at even money, you didn't make a bad wager, but this is not a foregone conclusion. It's only going to be, it'll be June, right? By the time we get to this weekend here, there's going to be time in this race. If we're going to make a bet at even money, minus 110, let's get a little bit deeper on, I think, into this season before we make that decision. Now, we have Florida and New York tonight as we get set for game number 5 of this series. And the Rangers and the Panthers have played incredibly close hockey, a lot of overtime hockey, and Igor has been brilliant, as good as he can. This Panthers offense, though, was able to make it happen in overtime and find the back of the net and even this thing up. But it's the Rangers with home ice once again. The reason the Rangers remain a dog in the series is, as you can see, they're a dog here tonight. I was looking at an under in this game, yet the 5.5 is just not a number I can get to at minus 140 juice at some shops there. My feeling is Florida caps out at 3 tonight, whether that's a 3-2, 3-1 victory or a 4-3, 5-3, sounds crazy, 5-2 loss, right? I would love it under 3.5. Again, very expensive. 2.5s are juiced over, but I'd love a flat 3 for a team total. I haven't necessarily been able to see that just yet. I'm thinking, again, under hockey. I know people are looking for Igor saves tonight because he's just been so brilliant. You're getting a tall number, though, checking in 28.5, which is more reason as to why I bet that 20-plus prop after 2 games at minus 215. That number now well through minus 400, doubling the value, because not close. He's hit that in games 3 and 4. Now, this series could go 7, which is the only thing, I guess, working in the disadvantage of that play. At the time, the series was 1-1, so we could have had this series end in 5 or 6. It still could end in 6, but if it goes 7, you're just now working against more games, ultimately there. If you pull up your series prop, by the way, for Rangers-Panthers, and that plus price on New York, I don't know how anybody gets to it, right? If you like the Rangers tonight, then just bet the Rangers money line. If you like the Rangers in this series, again, you have to like them tonight, I would think. And same is kind of true for Florida. Both of these series right now, incredibly close, both sitting at 2-2. If I were to get involved right now in any NHL futures, and there's a part of me that wants to, but I've not found a number. I got close to Colorado when they were playing Dallas, and again, ultimately I didn't make that jump, luckily, since they didn't get through that series. I'd maybe rather bet an exact result. There's a Florida 5-1 against Edmonton bet right now that's a little tempting. Maybe a Rangers or maybe an Oilers over Rangers exact. I'm trying to get a sense there. I've mentioned not being in love with Dallas. I think it's more that I just really like that Edmonton group. I think it's where I'm different from most. It's because a lot of people just don't love McDavid. People, not that they hate McDavid, but they don't love the postseason results so far. But eventually, a guy that good is going to break through. It feels like it could be this year. Let's go to the W quickly for people, as we've got the Fever and the Storm. As I mentioned off the top of your show tonight, I'm on the Indiana Fever here, plus 5.5. I think it's a really nice spot for Caitlin Clark and co to strike an upset over a Storm team that's still not necessarily shown to be as good as some of their pricing, certainly not their futures pricing right now. A meeting already between the squads in Seattle. Not only was a 2-point loss for the Fever, but was booked at the exact same number. So I think we're seeing an overreaction to a Fever team that lost to the LA Sparks at home, and now you're getting this big 5.5 number here. Speaking of the Sparks, they play the Chicago Sky tonight. This is an important game. First meeting between options 2 and 3 in the Rookie of the Year market, Angel Reese and Cameron Brink. Cameron Brink coming off of a 3-point game against the Indiana Fever. Offensively, she's just not even close. Again, Caitlin Clark should have won this thing in a runaway, but if you are interested in betting somebody other than Caitlin, tonight's game is going to go a long way in deciding that. Those head-to-heads between Brink and Reese, I think, can move markets. Can Angel Reese, for the first time in her career, shoot 50% from the field and potentially tonight go over the 12.5 number? Maybe against Cameron Brink. She'll see, okay, college level, same here. She breaks through. Time will tell. Up next, it's Joe Madden, baseball and hockey with you here on SportsGrid.
and now you have to qualify in these majors. You got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships. So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
Using the parlays against one another, right, and being able to get a little bit of juice consig, I found to be a little interesting.
Believe me, all the rhombuses and parallelograms are constantly trying to search and find out those things every day. It's one of the battles that you know, as you expand the menu, you encounter new battles.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I look, I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York team has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Live right here on SportsGrid, Game Time Decisions. Joe Madden joins the show. Joe, plenty to get to. Baseball and NHL tonight. How are you?
I'm doing great. Super excited for these games tonight. The ice is going to be hot, Kevin.
Yeah, it certainly will. But I think we started off with Major League Baseball here, Joe, with a few games that have not started just yet. And we'll begin at Citi Field in Queens, the Mets against the Arizona Diamondbacks. This is a Mets team. Look, losing baseball games is one thing. Every game finding its way to being more painful than the last is another. What do you think about them as a home dog against Arizona?
I absolutely love a home dog, but you said it. The Mets are finding new ways to lose every single night. So I can't hit on them, but then I look at the Arizona Diamondbacks, and yes, Zach Allen's getting the nod here. But can I trust this team offensively? They've shown their struggles as well. One of these teams will need to come out with the win. We know that. I do have more faith in Zach Allen than I do in the rookie Christian Scott, but his numbers are pretty solid. I'm going to look at a prop bet in this one, Kevin. Corbin Carroll to record a stolen base is coming in at plus 335. And we know here the Mets are allowing those stolen bases left, right, and center. They're allowing the most stolen bases in the whole league. So I do think out here with the rookie Corbin Carroll can be able to get a stolen base on him. So give me that plus money, Kevin.
I like the look, Joe. I'll quickly say, I mentioned Corey Seager, who's red hot right now and snapping out of it, which is great to see. There's been a few stars that have had slow starts to their years. Corbin Carroll, no different, except he's not come close to snapping out of it. He's been atrocious this season. He's batting under 200. This is a kid that people thought was absolutely live for NL MVP. And here's the difference between a Corbin Carroll, okay, and when you talk about someone like Corey Seager, someone like Aaron Judge, those are pedigree guys. Corbin Carroll's 23. A lot of promise. We don't know what this is going to be here. So for Arizona, who, again, is a team that wants to make the postseason, coming off of an appearance in the World Series, and was hoping that Corbin Carroll would be a driving force to their 2024 year. They're not getting anything remotely close to what their expectations were, and I think a guy like Carroll is a little bit more difficult to trust for a full bounce-back big picture, but doesn't mean he can't get a steal for the people tonight. Joe, what about Fenway Park? It's the Boston Red Sox hosting the Detroit Tigers. Anything jump off of the page here for you?
Yeah. I'm taking the under 7.5. And I know it's scary when you look at Jack Flaherty and Nick Pivetta getting the starts here, but when we really dig into their numbers, I like what we've seen out of them, especially in this month. Pivetta sits with a 2.60 ERA in his past 5 starts. He's been strong. Overall ERA on the season, though, is a 4.20. I'm needing him to bring his A game in this one. And then the Detroit Tigers are starting Jack Flaherty. Overall ERA just below 4 at 3.84. But again, in his last couple of starts, last 5 starts out here, that ERA has dropped all the way down to 2. So these pitchers, if they can get into form coming out right away in this one, I do think this game should stay under that total of 7.5. I think Jack Flaherty is a strong pitcher to look at his strikeout props as well. I've been riding it. His number is so juiced. So tonight you have to fire it up. The over 6.5 strikeouts is minus 162. If you fire it up to 8+ strikeouts, that's coming in at plus 124. And I do think he has that ability to do so. We saw him in those last couple of games get 9 strikeouts in both. So I do think he's going to come out here strong. I think Nick Pivetta will come out here strong, and we'll just stay under this total of 7.5. I expect 7 runs in this one, Kevin.
Maybe one of these games, Joe, the first inning strikeout over that I know you've mentioned in the past, because Pivetta is certainly capable of Ks as well.
Yeah, I would definitely look at that first inning strikeouts. They're normally 3+ strikeouts in that first inning, and you're getting great plus money. So as long as we can get Pivetta to get 1, I do think Jack Flaherty will come out here and get 2, and the plus money on that is going to be great. It's normally around plus 162, Kevin, for that kind of bet in the first inning, and it's definitely a good game here to look at it.
All right, something we'll keep our eyes on. Joe, what about this game where the Atlanta Braves are attempting to avoid another loss at the hands of the Washington Nationals here, everybody's favorite? Any value in this game to you?
Kevin, I can't wait till there's a game I can come on and say, go against the Washington Nationals, because it seems like every time I come on and tell you we got to make a play on them, but I have to make a play on them again in this one today. I'm going to look at the Nationals plus the 1.5 at minus 120. You can also sprinkle on that money line, and I think they have every opportunity here against the Atlanta Braves. The Braves are just too big of favorites here at home, and I don't think they deserve to be this big of favorites. Lopez getting the start, and Lopez, I don't know. He's been solid at home. I'm expecting this to be a lower scoring game between these two. So I think the Washington Nationals can keep it tight because Trevor Williams has been solid. He's 2-0 with a 1.85 ERA in his last 24 innings pitched. On the road, he's been strong as well. 2.73 ERA. I do think he can do enough in this one to stay competitive with Lopez out there. Keep us in that lower scoring game. Now, that total is 8.5. I would take that to the under as well. Maybe the first 5 innings to the under too, because I think this is a pitching battle that we won't expect to be as good as it actually will be out there.
And then lastly, late night Yankees-Angels. Joe, we hate to see this. We're on the opposite side here. It happens. But you like runs in this game late night.
I do, and you look at the Yankees, I'm waiting for that breakout game, Kevin. I expected them to go over the alt total of 5.5 yesterday. We've got Rodon and Sandoval coming out. I can't trust Sandoval here for the LA Angels. Too high of an ERA, 2-7 on the season with a 5.6 ERA. His career versus the Yankees, though, pretty solid numbers, a 2-1 with a 3.93 ERA. His last start, he gave up those runs, and I just can't trust him. We have a potent lineup here of the Yankees, and it's been so quiet as of late. I'm expecting that big game out of them, and I definitely think it is one here that they can really hit off of Sandoval. So I know the bullpen has been strong for the Yankees, but I just can't see this one staying under that total of 8.5. I expect the Yankees to get the majority of those runs on the board.
Yeah, look, it is a worry for me that the Yanks just connect because they haven't in this series so far. Like I will say it's funny, Joe. It is not a piece of evidence for my under of all the games have gone under in the series, right? That doesn't make me feel any better about this, but I'm just hoping that we have a situation where Sandoval can bounce back and then Rodon is great. I'm a little more worried that Rodon doesn't show up to kind of the stretch here. I want to ask you something quickly, Joe, big picture baseball. We talked about this a little bit earlier on in the show around Paul Skeens, and he is making a charge now in this NL Rookie of the Year race, which it shouldn't be surprising if I would have said that preseason, but he's doing it against guys in Yamamoto and Imanaga who get Cy Young conversations placed around them. I know you bet plenty of strikeout props. I know you look at every game on the baseball board. What have you thought about this Paul Skeens start to his Major League Baseball career?
Oh, I've been absolutely blown away by what he's been able to do, especially in that strikeout area. He's come out so phenomenally strong, and he's matched up against some really big bats. And this kid, I tell you, the speed that he can throw that ball, he's striking out some of the best. And I think his career is going to be absolutely phenomenal out here, Kevin. So I do think his value on getting those awards, sign me up all day. He's a fantastic pitcher, and I think he's going to have a long, long career out here.
I will just say, and it's such a bizarre thing where I can give you a bet. I promise you'll beat the number. I think it's very unlikely you win, but there is no reason he is still 200-1 to win NL Cy Young with Austin Gomber at the same number. Imanaga is 12-1 to win Cy Young and is watching his Rookie of the Year league drop back because of Paul Skeens. If Skeens was 100-1, I'd be quiet. I wouldn't do this. We would have been silent. Last minute of the segment, I would have had no take, no opinions. Now I have to bet a 200-1 ticket on a guy whose strikeouts I took under. What's going on here? Hockey's next.
And now you have to qualify, and these majors, you got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships. So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
Using the parlays against one another, right, and being able to get a little bit of juice consig, I found to be a little interesting.
Believe me, all the rhombuses and parallelograms are constantly trying to search and find out those things every day. It's one of the battles that you know, as you expand the menu, you encounter new battles.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I look, I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, let's talk hockey. In the break, a part of also a big Paul Skeens conversation, I, for the third or fourth time today, had my producer say, "Did you bet Mika yet?" They're hot on Zibanejad back here, Joe. I want to get your thoughts first. It's game number 5 at Madison Square Garden. Rangers, Panthers. What are you looking for in this game?
Well, I tell you, the Rangers' big stars like Mika have to absolutely come to play in this game tonight. I keep getting a look at this line, Kevin, and shaking my head. These two teams are so evenly matched, and the Rangers at home in the Garden, and we're getting plus money on them. I just don't understand why there's so much love for the Florida Panthers. And I like this Florida Panthers team. I understand the depth of this team, but the New York Rangers have the same depth. Out of principle, because we're getting plus money on the New York Rangers, I have taken the New York Rangers on the money line. But I do think this is a live betting opportunity again in this matchup. The books overreact as soon as one of these teams goes up. And I will be coming back on the Florida Panthers if it's a New York Rangers team who goes up in this one plus the 1.5. But I think going into this game, you got to look at this total under 5.5. This is game 5 here between these two teams in the Eastern Conference. Whoever wins this game will put the other team's backs against the wall in game 6. And I do think with such a pivotal game here, defense and goaltending is going to be absolutely everything in this game. We could see a more open game 6, but I'm not buying into an open game 5 here. I'll be shocked if we get those goals in the first period. So I'm going to take the under 5.5. Now the juice has gone up on that. It's right around minus 142 now. It was minus 134 earlier in the day, but I still think there's value in taking this game to the under. I struggle to see that back and forth open ice play in this one. I'm also going to look at Igor Shesterkin for over his save shots on goal. Over 28.5 save shots on goal coming in at minus 108. And that's not to say I don't think Bobrovsky will have a solid night as well. I do think Bobrovsky has a solid night. His number is sitting at 23.5. The problem with taking that to the over is the Florida Panthers defense is getting those block shots. They're stepping up in front of that puck. They're not allowing those shots to get to Bobrovsky, so he's taking lighter work out there. I still think Bobrovsky stands on his head. I won't be shocked if this is a 1-1 game going to overtime or a 2-1 game finishing up, or the 3-1 because of the empty netter. I just don't see it being a 6-goal game in this one. So I'm expecting those shots on goal to come out of the Florida Panthers. I'd look at Matthew Tkachuk and Sam Reinhart. You can take both of them for plus shots on goal in this one, Kevin. But this is going to be war. This is going to be battle out here. And I do think has to be the defense and the goaltending. That's the storyline of this. And we've seen in this series only one of these games go over, and it was a Sunday afternoon game. All of these night games have stayed under that total.
Yeah, so listen, I'm thinking an under as well, Joe, which makes backing the Mika Zibanejad prop even more difficult. But sometimes you just got to be a good friend and place him at plus 290 anytime goal scorer. So the Igor prop then, between the under and then Igor, Joe, do you feel stronger between one of the two? Because they feel correlated, right?
Yeah, they do feel correlated, but definitely Igor Shesterkin over the 28.5 save shots on goal, I do think is a stronger bet than taking that under 5.5 in case havoc breaks out and we see Bobrovsky give up those goals. I was writing Igor Shesterkin during this series to have that one shutout game. Could it be tonight? It absolutely could. The Rangers need that big statement win in the Garden. Could they get a 1-0 win in the Garden? Absolutely. And looking at him for that shutout number is going to be fantastic. Now, I do think, though, it has a better possibility of going to overtime in this game. You can take the overtime bet at plus 320 right now. These two teams are going to play so very tight. And like I said, if one of these teams goes up, we're seeing this over and over and over again in both of these conferences. The other team fights back. We saw Edmonton. They were up 490 dog at one point last night when the Dallas Stars went up, and they came back winning that 5-2. That's not out of the realm in this one, even though I think it's a lower scoring game. The overreaction when one of these teams scores in that first period or that second period on the other team, the plus money, it might be too much not to jump on the other side as well, Kevin. So I think it's a great live betting opportunity. We know the New York Rangers' strongest period really has been that second period. So definitely something to keep in mind if they do go down in this game in that first period for the Rangers to come back in the second.
All right, so potentially some live value. Joe, as far as this series goes, do you think it is as simple as whoever wins tonight will win the series, or it's still going to be up in the air heading into Game 6?
Absolutely up in the air, Kevin. This is a zigzag series with these two teams. They're going back and forth and they're battling it out. And I really do think this one goes all the way to game number 7. And it's going to come down to some puck clock, which is the worst thing between these two teams. These two teams both deserve to be in the Stanley Cup finals. And I wish this was it right here because the atmosphere of these games, the level these teams are playing at is absolutely elite. And we're getting those battles out there on the ice. And it's fantastic, but I'm taking it all the way to game 7. It probably goes to overtime in that game 7. And again, some puck luck, some misreads by the goaltenders, and that will have your winner.
All right. Now, no love for the Western Conference Finals.
No.
You don't like Edmonton is the problem, right?
Yeah, well, that is a problem, a huge problem. And then the Dallas Stars, Chris Tanev went out last night. Their main defenseman, he's been getting those block shots, making such an impact. The depth of Dallas is phenomenal, but I really do think the Eastern Conference is stronger than the Western Conference, Kevin.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really interesting. It looks like the Stars might be favored if it's them against either team. Florida likely favored against Edmonton. It would be a really fascinating. I think we're going to be in for a great Stanley Cup. No matter what, I probably will, if McDavid's there, root him in. There's a bet for him to break the points record, which is, of course, owned by Wayne Gretzky. The problem is I think you need each series to go 7 and be just so high scoring. It's a little tough to see it getting there. But nevertheless, should be a great one, Joe. We appreciate the breakdowns as always.
Thanks, Kevin. All the best tonight on the ice, everyone.
All right, great stuff there from Joe Madden. And by the way, a little riddle came across the table. There's a boost on DK for a goal scorer. Cashed out of the plus 290. It never happened. Vanished. Now I'm on the plus 340 with the boost. Mika's advantage ad. Let's make it happen, people. NFL is next. Would you believe that?
And now you have to qualify, and these majors, you got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships. So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
Using the parlays against one another, right? And being able to get a little bit of juice consig, I found to be a little interesting.
Believe me, all the rhombuses and parallelograms are constantly trying to search and find out those things every day. It's one of the battles that you know, as you expand the menu, you encounter new battles.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer, too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I look, I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Live right here, Game Time Decisions, Hour 2, loaded with both Coach James Young in the mix, as well as Dave Sharapan. A lot of good stuff for the consig when he gets here as well. Great stuff from Joe Madden helping us out. I want to talk a little NFL, if you'll allow me, which of course you will, because you love the NFL. You miss the NFL. Look at you. Oh, you're so excited, Chiefs-Ravens. Oh, this Kelsey 80+. Oh, this Mahomes overpassing touchdowns. Your card's loaded. I know it. Me too. It's going to be a great night. I can't wait. How many days? Countdown's on. It's right around the corner. Some NFL news today. Firstly, Jalen Waddle gets paid by the Miami Dolphins. Look, I really want to see what Miami does with Tua at the end of this year. You win a Super Bowl? Okay, he's coming back. He wins a league MVP? Oh, all right, come on. Those are not interesting. But what does Tua need to do to make sure he is the long-term quarterback for the Miami Dolphins? They say all the right things, but Herbert's been paid in his class last year. Burrow's been paid in his class last year. We've not seen the Tua contract. Maybe you think the Tua contract gets done this offseason. Maybe it does. But if it does not, what is this team going to be willing to do? Because you have Mike McDaniel. I know he has some people that are not in on Mike McDaniel. I'm not one of them. I'm in. And now you have Mike McDaniel, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. That's pretty good for anybody you're going to make as your signal caller. So could the Miami Dolphins do something that I think more teams should probably be willing to do, which is move on from a guy when the rookie contract is coming up? We know how valuable that is. And is paying Tua top dollar in the best interest of the Miami Dolphins? This year's going to answer that question definitively. But if this team has to pivot rookie, pivot cheap deal, but trust the surrounding pieces, Mike McDaniel, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, they have those surrounding pieces locked up with that Jalen Waddle deal. Item number 2, Hard Knocks is in. Caleb Williams, Chicago Bears. You know, I don't know how much money comes in as a result of Hard Knocks on teams, but if it does, I would say you could double it here on Chicago. Anything that Caleb Williams does in a positive direction is going to inspire more confidence. People are excited, rightfully so. He won a Heisman Trophy, went back last year, was really good. I know underwhelming record-wise, but Caleb was still great for that USC football team. Enters a Bears team that people have some postseason expectations on. Another rookie in Rome Odunze. Keenan Allen enters the fold. There's juice. We know that. You put some extra eyeballs on, Bears numbers probably get more expensive, not cheaper. Futures-wise, game to game, Hard Knocks will be a distant memory. All right? There's going to be some fun moments coming out of the show. It just feels like if you love the Bears, now maybe you've already placed your numbers. Maybe you've already missed the boat on those numbers. But waiting for Hard Knocks is hardly going to do anything for you. I'm not running there. You guys know me. Patience first. I worry about injuries. It's football. It happens. I want as clean as possible heading into opening season or opening night. That's the dream. I believe last year we did our NFL futures the day before kickoff. I'm going to assume I was off the Wednesday. We probably went NFL future style on that Tuesday. We might put some more on the board before then, but that's going to be give or take my time frame. I know many out there in this business try and jump the number. I get it. I pay for information in some spots, and that's kind of the story here. Speaking of jumping the number, 300 to 1, anybody? FanDuel Sportsbook tweets out they got a Jarrett Stidham bet today to win NFL MVP at 300 to 1, a $1 wager. Now, that $1 pays back 300. Okay. You want to put $1 down and win 300? I hear you. It's a long shot. Here's my problem with the Jarrett Stidham bet. Besides the obvious. Of the quarterbacks that are 300 to 1, he is very clearly the worst option. Sam Darnold, Sam Howell, Michael Penix Jr., and Drake May. Jarrett Stidham is clearly the worst guy on that board. Whoa, what are we doing? You want to put $1 down to win 300? I'm liking what you're bringing to the table here. Give me Saquon. Give me Devon Achane. I'll get in the mix. Maybe Max Crosby. I might rip a couple 300 to 1 NFL MVPs. I like what you're bringing to the table here. That's juice. That's spicy. Don't bet the worst quarterback in the range. Let's get Drake May on your card, sir. Let's get a couple extra dollars there and juice it up. JY's next. It's Game Time Decisions.
And now you have to qualify, and these majors, you got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships. So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
Using the parlays against one another, right, and being able to get a little bit of juice consig, I found to be a little interesting.
Believe me, all the rhombuses and parallelograms are constantly trying to search and find out those things every day. It's one of the battles that you know, as you expand the menu, you encounter new battles.
Game Time Decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I look, I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Oh, it's Game Time Decisions. We're locked in. Oh, I can already tell, people. Kevin Walsh with you here on a Thursday night. Coach James Young right around the corner, I promise. But can we talk stars for a minute? Luka Doncic, Anthony Edwards. Look, I want to make this very clear. I want to clear this up just in case you think, wow, K-Dub's hating on Ant. He doesn't like Anthony Edwards. You're wrong. I'm telling you right now, Anthony Edwards, top 10 player in the league heading into the season. You might think, oh, come on, that's not a hot take. Check the tape. Go look at those top 100s from all your favorite websites, and you will see Ant in the top 10 and precisely 0 of them. And I'll add a little extra because the efficiency's been awful. Points per game hasn't been good enough. Oh, I love that. I love that. That's a little do-it-all, baby. That reminds me a little bit of that. Whoa, I like what I'm seeing there from Anthony Edwards. Right? Right? Enough of those comparisons to that other 2-3. We don't need those. Those are about looks. This is about, yeah, we like that a lot. Here's the problem. Without the athleticism, that's the closest it gets. That's the problem. The gap. It's real. It's not a slight to Ant. This is tier 1. It's maybe number 1. For some it is. I think a little bit of Jokic erasure. Little bit, right? But here's the thing. Tonight we come together. Tonight it's all harmony. Luka Doncic and Anthony Edwards is my favorite piece of action tonight, combined over 58.5. One of them, if not both, gets us 35. I think one of them could hit 40 tonight. I really believe that. They're both certainly going to clear your 20-point marker, right? Over 58.5 combined. If one of us gets 35, we need 24 from the other. Ant has not been able to break through efficiency-wise yet. I think he has one efficient game in him. Not more, but not less. He should be able to shoot 50% from the field at least once. And Luka, For the first time in 6 meetings now, regular and postseason, against this Minnesota Timberwolf defense, was held under 30 because he shot 33% from the field. Bounce back, baby. So I think you got a chance tonight for both of these guys to sizzle. I think the floors are really high, and it's my favorite piece of action. We'll talk more, but I don't want to do it alone anymore. Let's get Coach James Young in the fold here. And JY, when it comes to Luka and Anthony Edwards, are you trusting one of those two stars tonight more than the other?
I think it's going to be a great game, and I think Ant is back. By the way, all those pundits, all those people on social media not saying Ant Edwards top 10. Go check the tape. JY had him top 10. And you could say next year he might have jumped a couple of guys. Kevin Durant, you may have just got jumped. And Luka, I'm going to say this. This past year I had him 4th as the 4th best player in the world. I think he jumps Giannis. He's 3, and because of health, I think you could put Luka as the 2nd plus best player in the world behind probably Joker.
So I'm guessing then, who else did you have you had Embiid in front of him?
Yeah, this past year I had Joker. No, actually, past year I went, and I had the first order. I had Giannis 1, 2 Embiid, 3 Joker, 4 Luka, 5 SGA, 6 LeBron.
Hey,
I think 7 Durant, 8.
There you go. There you go. Oh, there you go. We almost went a little long there without here. Come on now. Come on now. Hey, look at him go. Look at him go. All right, JY. So I really think this is the most important question heading into this game, and you're the perfect guy to ask. Did Minnesota figure out something? Forget Kyrie, actually. Did Minnesota figure out something as it pertains to guarding Luka Doncic in Game 4, or did he have an off night?
I'm going to say this, Kevin. Ready? It depends on how the game is officiated tonight. Because I thought early in the game, they let them be very physical with Luka, particularly on the perimeter. And what you do is you got them to start their offense a little bit further out. Luka shoots a little bit deeper. They let them be very physical from the jump, Kevin. And that's what I'm going to watch for as a coach. And this is something I really, truly believe in, folks. The first 5 minutes or so of a game, a ref will tell you how the game will be called. So now I'm looking at people and saying, live props. If the game is guarded tight and they're calling fouls, particularly on the perimeter, McDaniels, Conley, these guys early in the game, they get a foul call or 2, I'm running to Luka's over even if he has no points. Because that means they have to adjust and Luka then will attack more. I think a lot of this has to do with how games are called, and it's very rare, folks, and I want people to understand this. Referees talk before the game. They huddle up, they talk, they conference in their locker room before they take the floor. Very rarely, folks, do they huddle up before the game, have one agenda, hey, we're going to let them play. And then at halftime, they say, whoa, we got to call it, unless there's fights breaking out, whoa, we got to call it tight. The way they ref in the first quarter, Kevin, is usually how they ref it in the fourth quarter. Watch how the game is refereed tonight.
Yeah, I think it's a good point there, Coach. Luka last game was able to get to the line 12 times, made 10 of those. But again, it was the 2-point shot for Luka that really struggled. Shot 3 of 10, 30% from 2. You can't have that if you're Luka Doncic, which, by the way, the bench go bear stuff from some people, right? Not smart, incorrect. Nicest way I'll be able to put that. Here's the question, though, Coach, as we're talking a little officiating here, okay? And this is a risky question to ask you because your answer would probably be more colorful if you were actually still coaching. That's my guess. What would you tell Karl Anthony Towns as it pertains to him consistently fouling if you were this Minnesota Timberwolves staff? Because he was able to still get through all his points props, his 3-point props, but only 30 minutes for Cat. and that was a foul thing. I'm sure they wish they had him out there for 40 last game.
I agree. And I think what was interesting to me is the fact that, and I think I want people to understand this really quick. And sorry, Kevin. I think Dallas blew their chance in the second quarter. Gobert, Ant, Cat all had 3 fouls. Yeah. I think with under 3 minutes left to go in the half. They gotta end that half better and attack them off the bounce early on. Very simple. There's a phrase that I tell players, okay? And I can equate it to high school and women's college basketball because of the 4 quarters. Ready, folks? No fouls through 1 foul at the break, 2 fouls after 3, and then you can take it home and be ultra aggressive. Why am I saying that? 2 fouls in the first quarter, you're sitting. 3 fouls in the second quarter, you're sitting unless the game's getting out of hand and maybe you play offense, defense. Third quarter, you get your 4th foul, you're sitting. 5th foul before about the 6-minute mark, you're sitting. You have to know when to foul and how to foul. So if Cat gets a foul in the first quarter, if I'm Chris Finch, I'm going to say, you better not foul. You better not foul. That's all I'm going to tell you. Don't foul. Don't do it. Don't rival someone. Just run the other way.
So, J1, do you have any we have plenty of time to talk. Jay was going to hang out with us here for about a half hour tonight. Any picks that you want to get around maybe Cat or Luka tonight? Are you betting either one of those 2 guys?
Yeah, I'm going to go Cat over 10.5 rebounds plus assists. I think you'll get better out of him. And he's a guy, folks. Ready, folks? He is a feel good to play good kind of player. So if he's confident, he's playing well, and he's shooting the ball well, he's the kind of guy, he's a rah-rah guy. What's that mean? When he's shooting well, he'll do everything else well. I don't know if he gets to his points prop. I think he rebounds, and if times he starts to hit his shots, they run a defender at him, pass the ball. Other thing I want to see from Cat, do not rely on that 3-point shot. Go to the basket.
We'll get it on more on the other side, live right here, Game Time Decisions.
And now you have to qualify, and these majors, you got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships. Mm-hmm. So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
Using the parlays against one another, right, and being able to get a little bit of juice consig, I found to be a little interesting.
Believe me, all the rhombuses and parallelograms are constantly trying to search and find out those things every day. It's one of the battles that you as you expand the menu, you encounter new battles.
Game Time Decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer, too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Back to the right here, SportsGrid live on a Thursday night. Kevin Walsh, Coach James Young, talking a little bit about the matchup tonight between Dallas and Minnesota. We talked a little Luka, a little Cat. Coach mentioned a nice little play on Carl's rebounds plus assists. I mentioned my combo bet with Luka and Anthony Edwards, and I'm also doing a combo bet with Karl Anthony Towns and Kyrie Irving, which is over 4.5 made threes combined, even money on that ticket. And Cat, super efficient last game, not a lot of volume. That was in part due to the fouls. We've seen multiple games. I know it's only been 4 total, but where he's at 8 or more attempts. If I get 8 attempts at it tonight from Cat, a bad game is 2 makes. I think it could be 3. I think it could be 4. I think he could stay hot hand. And Kyrie Irving this series has been up and down. Tonight is supposed to be an up game coming off of his worst so far of the series. I think both of these guys could very well hit 3. I think the floor for both guys is 2. I like a little even money shot here on the combination style, Karl Anthony Towns and Kyrie Irving. Coach, do you have any thoughts on Kyrie heading in to Game 5 in Minnesota?
I think Kyrie will be pretty good. Kevin, I think unless there's a blowout, which I think it could be, I think there's points on the board tonight. I see this game going up and down a little bit, and I see Kyrie playing pretty well. I honestly, Kevin, maybe this is like the eternal optimist in me. I think both teams play well. I think both teams shoot the ball well. I think both teams attack the basket. So I expect points. I expect Kyrie to be near that number. I do love the Cat and Kyrie play for 4.5 threes. Shout out to Jersey, North Jersey in the building. Stand up. But you got a situation where you're right. If Cat has a bad shooting game, he's going to hit 2 threes. Cat at home after the fourth quarter, I wouldn't be shocked if he has 2 threes coming at the end of the first quarter. And you're basically 40% there. And I haven't even talked about Kyrie. I think if you're Minnesota, particularly if Gobert is not effective and you take him out the game, I think you slough off of Kyrie a little bit because you're worried about his takes to the basket. And let's be honest, Kevin, he's got the best, layup package bag, whatever you want to call it, in the league. You can see that with Gobert being ineffective, that he may get more threes because defensively you may have to sit off him because you don't have that rim protector in the back line.
It's going to be really interesting for Kyrie. He has not stopped really the I'll play each one or the other half thing. I think it was game 3 where he actually contributed pretty evenly across the 2. It would be nice to see Kyrie, 6 early ones, 7 in the next quarter. It's just kind of keep it going. It wouldn't kill him. I think it's probably, though, I wonder if it's something about how he and Luka feel comfortable switching on and off, probably finding rest pockets. I think that's something I know LeBron's always talked about, Coach, is finding ways to rest on the court. People probably hear that and think it's such a negative, but when you're playing 40-plus minutes, you have to pick spots, and you can't go out there and initiate the offense every time, play high-level defense all in the same breath. I think that's actually something that Anthony Edwards has figured out, who was guarding his tail off all series long against Denver and initiating a lot of the offense against Denver and has not been able to have an efficient game in quite some time. Any picks we haven't touched on yet for you tonight, Coach, in Game 5?
Yeah, one that I do like is Derek Jones. Now, shop around, folks. I want to tell you this right now. It's 12.5 on FanDuel. It's 11.5 on BetMGM. Go look at Derek Jones Jr. over 11.5, I would say, points plus rebounds. Over and 10 out of his last 15 games. 4 out of his last 6. I think there's a way where he can get a 3 or 2. Remember that big game he had in Game 6 versus Oklahoma City, hitting them 2 threes early on. And if you are going to sit and there's a guy you may leave open, he knocks it down. If he stays out of foul trouble, I like Derek Jones Jr. on BetMGM best line over 11.5 points plus rebounds.
Now, JY, I'm curious because a lot of people are, whenever you get a 3-0 lead, all right, now we're 3-1, right? If Minnesota wins tonight, hey, people will say, oh, Dallas better winning Game 6. Game 7, back in Minnesota. The price at the moment for Minnesota to win this series is plus 385. Is that enough for you to consider playing the Timberwolves to win this series?
Well, I already took the Timberwolves before to win in 7, so I'm not touching it at this point. So unless I want to touch it again, that would be it. Here's what I would say to you folks: be careful. Okay, I think the best way to do this, and like me as a Minnesota backer, is play it game by game. Play it game by game.
Yeah.
Let me go get the win and the cover, and then I'll take them on the money line in game number 6 to get the 7, because I've already got the ticket for them to win in 7 games. So I'd rather play it that way, individual games the rest of the way.
Yeah, I think my take is it's way too big of a drop, game over game. This number was plus 1040 before they played game 4, and now we're plus 385.
Mm-hmm.
That's way too far of a move. I understand they're favored tonight. I understand people, they'd be favored in game 7. Game 4 was not the hurdle game, okay? This is a team in the Dallas Mavericks that hasn't lost back-to-back games yet.
This is the game.
Minnesota has to put that on their plate tonight. And then at that point, then, okay, the plus 385 might start to maybe make a little bit sense. I just think they've moved it way too much so far when you see right now. We are caught up against a break here. When we come back, there's 2 things with whatever time we have that I want to break into with Coach. That's a little update live on the WNBA board. The Storm had an early 10-0 run that's put them up on the Indiana Fever and kind of everything surrounding that team. And then the NBA draft, which I think is really important because it's approaching. Countdown's on. We're less than a month away to the NBA draft. And I know Coach right now, despite the prices on SAR, thinks he could be a little bit vulnerable in those markets there. And in general, the Atlanta Hawks are a fascinating team this offseason who could very well move on from not their first, not just their second. They can move on from 5 key players, 3 starters, 4 starters. There's a lot on the board there. We'll talk about that next right here. It's Game Time Decisions on SportsGrid.
And now you have to qualify, and these majors, you got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships.
Mm-hmm.
So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
Using the parlays against one another, right? And being able to get a little bit of juice consig, I found to be a little interesting.
Believe me, all the rhombuses and parallelograms are constantly trying to search and find out those things every day. It's one of the battles that you know, as you expand the menu, you encounter new battles.
Game Time Decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I look, I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, back right here, a couple of key updates. One of them in Major League Baseball, Zach Gallen just got pulled after 6 pitches. And now all of a sudden, that completely shifts that game because Zach Gallen is the ace of the Arizona Diamondbacks and why Arizona was a road favorite. I know I mentioned being on the New York Mets. This is not part of the cap, and Arizona now is just kind of scrambling here. I will say for the Mets, you were expecting to go against Zach Gallen. Now, for what, 6, 7 innings? This is just kind of all now very confusing. The other update is Derek Lively has been confirmed in. We're still here with Coach James Young. JY, would you look to bet any Derek Lively tonight, or are you still hesitant considering we don't know how much Derek Lively will be given in this game?
That's a live bet, Kevin. I got to see him on the floor. I got to see him on the floor. And it's something, Kevin, you just watch the first time he's got to go block a shot. How hard does he attack the glass the first possession or two? I need to see that energy because he is someone that brings a lot of energy. And that, to me, if he's right, that gives me, honestly, more pause for Minnesota maybe winning the game because I feel like when he gets in the game, he galvanizes that team. Plus, now you don't have to worry about Gafford playing big minutes because I think he plays 30 minutes, so that's too much. You can't trust Maxey. So I want to see him start the game how he does so far.
All right, we'll keep our eyes on that. Update in the WNBA, the Fever trail the Storm by 7. JY, I know you thought that this could be a good spot for Seattle. It's only 1 quarter of action, but the Storm looked good, up 7. I think they're up to now live 7.5-point favorites. Yeah,
I liked it before the game, and it's only moved about 1.5. It was 5.5, so I did like the Seattle Storm pregame. If you guys want to pull up my pregame bets, and I did like Matt Gabber, to get 8+ rebounds. She has 3. I don't know if you can find a rebounding live prop, but she could be a double-double candidate, even though she's just 1 point. What I did bet right now, K-Dub, is slow start for Caitlin Clark, 1 for 4, only 1 3-point attempt. I just jumped in. Caitlin Clark, 2+ made 3 second quarter on DK, plus 350. I want to see. I think she may try and start to shoot her way into it because you look at Smith has played well so far. Boston has given nothing except for the rebounds. Mitchell's been good. So Smith and Mitchell have been good. Maybe you start to turn and tilt your defense towards them, and maybe Caitlin Clark gets loose. She's really good, Kevin, especially on that transition 3, that trail 3. Give it up, go back, find the ball, hit a 3. I think she can hit 2 this quarter.
I don't think you're wrong there. Why do I laugh? There's a live specials tab that, again, Coach just identified here. And in this tab, I believe you have 24 bets. All of them are Caitlin Clark bets.
I know.
If you'd like to know.
Go ahead.
Listen, but Jay, she is the biggest star, no close second in the league. That isn't disrespectful to Sue Bird or Diana Taurasi or anybody else.
Don't be jealous.
Jay, thank you, JY.
Don't be
because
jealous.
there are some you can tell that still hold on to be like, it's not just her. It's not just her, but be very clear as to who is this sport's biggest star. Because there are some people who are still trying to pretend that that isn't the case, and I don't know why. And, of course, she just entered the league this year as a rookie. JY, this rookie class has been discussed, not at length because people aren't as drawn to it. People will. It's how these things go. But you believe that Saar at minus 220 to be selected first overall, at least at this juncture in the draft process, is too strong.
No, I think it's too strong because Ricochet, I think, to me, has an incredible upside with his length and his ability to shoot the ball. And if you're a team like Atlanta, let's just take through it real quick. Evan Sideby reported yesterday through Shams that DeAndre Hunter is potentially going to be on the block and be traded. So I don't think Jalen Johnson is athletic enough to be a 3. So I think Ricochet becomes that pick, and then you can play him as a 2 or 3. Atlanta is so fascinating, folks. As Kevin said it best. I'll say it real quick. Trey versus DeJounte. One of them probably is going to go. Hunter versus Johnson. One of them is going to go. Okongwu versus Capella. One of them may go. And then maybe Bogdanovich off the bench. That team is fascinating. Picks players. It'll be so fun to watch the top of that NBA draft.
It's going to be a very fun NBA draft season because it could come with some stars on the move. And Caitlin Clark just hit a 3. So JY is in the mix. Coach, appreciate it.
JY.
Consig's up next.
Go JY.
Coach JY.
And now you have to qualify, and these majors, you got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships. So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
Using the parlays against one another, right? And being able to get a little bit of juice, Consig, I found to be a little interesting.
Believe me, all the rhombuses and parallelograms are constantly trying to search and find out those things every day. It's one of the battles that you know, as you expand the menu, you encounter new battles.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I look, I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Back to the right here, SportsGrid live on a Thursday night. Some live juice out there in the mix to help us, who will be live on In-Game Live. That's Dave Sharapan. Rangers garb is on. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Getting ready for playoff hockey is just the best. I can't get enough of it. But I know we have other things going on. The NBA is, it's going to be a compelling basketball game too. We'll keep an eye on a couple baseball games. I've been locked into the college softball all day. One of my favorite days is the first day at the College World Series. A lot of things happening. And then just before I came on, I just got noticed that the Bears are going to do the Hard Knocks. Did you hear about this?
Yep. Yeah. You excited?
I kind of am. I'm not going to lie. I kind of am. This is going to be fun. Season wins is still like, I don't know. Are they going to be a winning team, Kevin? Do they have juice? They got juice because of Caleb. And I don't know, but I'm going to watch for the first time in a while. I think I'm going to watch.
All right, so you weren't grabbed by the Jets last year? The Rodgers stuff didn't move you? No, you've had enough? Rodgers out?
Not in the least. Not in the least. But this one, this one's a little more football related. And like as bettors and stuff, you learn maybe a little bit here, a little bit there from a lot of this stuff, the access that you get and what you see. And I mean, we used to sit in the book, and there's a real effect of the Hard Knocks. Like, people bet it when it's positive. People bet on the team to go over their season wins, make the playoffs. The year that Cleveland was on, I'll never forget, I sat in a risk room and took a bet on the Cleveland Browns every single day for 2.5 months, before, during, Hard Knocks, the whole thing, every day. So, and if it ends up being bad, they'll bet against them.
Yeah. Let's talk some risk room. I got a couple things that are very specific for you, sir.
I miss you.
Let's begin with juice. It's a big topic, I believe, out there. Vig, right? Now,
yeah.
Hand up. I know less about this topic than others. I'm okay with that. That's why Dave's here. I was yesterday, or a few days ago, Dave, the Braves, the Acuna news came out, and I promise there's a reason I'm bringing this all up.
Yeah.
And I felt that they didn't move the numbers enough. Usually you get overreactions with news like that. I actually would have been a little bit more negative on the Braves than I felt a lot of the odds makers were. So I was like, man, let's see what the price is for them to miss the playoffs. And it was 14-1 with the no. The yes was minus 8,000. I said, well, now hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. That doesn't feel correct. And I was a little frustrated about that, right? I mean, I know we don't always get our fairest shake. Here's what I thought was interesting. I did, the odds to probability converter. And if you take minus 8,000 and 14-1, it comes out to 105.5, right?
Okay.
Now, it's more than 100%, but we know that's going to be the case. Here's what I thought was pretty interesting, Dave. Minus 110, both sides, is 104.8. Minus 115, both sides, which we will pay on certain things, is actually 107. And I know, so I bring this up to say, I saw minus 8,000 one side, 14-1 the other, and thought that's a crime. And it turns out it's actually not even close to how bad it is to pay minus 115 both sides. And there are certain things out there suggesting things could get worse.
It's going to get worse. The spread between the VIGs is not getting tighter. It's getting wider. And it's going to continue. It's part of the reason, the frustration level for somebody who did it. Like, I know minus 110 is enough. I've seen it work. And now the different models and things, and the ability to really not have anybody call you out on it and continue to do business is what's leading to, look, we're just going to increase the spread and the gap on things. And it's not to the consumer's best interest. It's to the book's best interest. And I would argue on behalf of the player all the time, because without the player, there is no book. And we already have an edge. We're getting plus 110 on all the bets, either side when you're taking minus 110. That's good. That should be enough. And offer fair parlay prices. It all should be enough. But yeah, Kevin, I don't know where it's going. And you're seeing it now. You love to look at markets that, like, I don't necessarily look at every day. And when I hear something like that, I go, geez, I don't even know if it's a good bet on either side at those numbers.
And that's why I wanted to use that example, because, by the way, I feel like a lot of people, if I show you minus 8,000 one side, 14-1 the other, be like, that is not fair, right? It's not even, but we know it's not even. My point is, minus 115 each side, minus 120 live bets, right? Each side, we see that, right? Is comfortably worse than a 14-1 minus 8,000 either side. I just wanted to bring that up. I wanted to bring up another thing about juice, because this is a little strange, okay? The Calipari specials market that came available on the FanDuel Sportsbook when it was announced he was taking the Arkansas job, it was 4 markets, which were the money lines of Kentucky and Arkansas when those teams would have their head-to-head.
the ever-changing SEC schedule eliminated actually one of those meetings. So it is just Kentucky at home against Arkansas. Minus 162 on Kentucky to win that basketball game, plus 125 on Arkansas to win that game. I do not bring this up about fair vig or anything like that. This game, I don't know when it is. I don't think we know when it is. Here's my question to you.
Mm-hmm.
How much would you need to beat this number by? Because there's no way you bet this based on whether or not you think you're going to win. How much would you need to beat the minus 162 Kentucky money line by in order to make this worth your while?
There's people that will tell you that there's probably nothing. How much more is it going to move? There's probably no price that they would go, well, I mean, it has to. If I'm going to lay 162, it better close 220, right? Like, to tie up the money this early, that long, that's a long time to sit on something. That, I mean, if it closes minus 180, do you know what you could have done with the money tied up at minus 162? If you beat it at minus 180, I don't think it's enough, right? Like, I don't feel like it would be. And I know guys that wouldn't even bother with it. They'd rather wait and beat it by 10 cents the day before. You know, that's the cost effectiveness of money.
Yeah, I think let's just to use the $100 to make it simple.
Yeah.
If you place the 162 to get back 100, I'd need Arkansas money line at 2-1, and then you place it as a free bet essentially, and that's about because here's the one thing: if you did this right, and Kentucky's a 12-point favorite going into the game, I still wouldn't let it ride. I still would not let that thing ride, and I'd probably just get out of it because I don't think you placed that bet to do anything other than beat the line, and to have that much confidence that you're going to beat the line is very tough, Dave.
Does Arkansas have any players on the team?
Yeah, they basically have half of what Kentucky had last year. That's basically what the roster is.
What are we doing?
So it's a bizarre thing. We'll be right back. There's plenty more to get to.
And now you have to qualify, and these majors, you got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships.
Mm-hmm.
So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
Using the parlays against one another, right, and being able to get a little bit of juice consig, I found to be a little interesting.
Believe me, all the rhombuses and parallelograms are constantly trying to search and find out those things every day. It's one of the battles that you know, as you expand the menu, you encounter new battles.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I look, I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
JY just made some cash. I got to ask him what the price was. Caitlin Clark with 2 threes in the second quarter. Consig, to put into perspective, again, a lot of room talk here tonight, which I appreciate. DraftKings had live WNBA player specials, 24 bets. All of them were on Caitlin Clark. It's just Caitlin Clark creating new markets, and that's all.
Listen, the markets are dictated by interest and action.
Yeah.
You don't just do it and hope people are going to play it. If you do, it ends up being a lot of work and kind of a waste of time, which is frustrating for anyone doing the numbers or trying to monitor the bets. That's incredible. There's not another in-game prop on another player in that game?
No, not one. There's no Skylar Diggins-Smith. There's no Aaliyah Boston. And there's no over-unders, by the way. It's just 20-plus, 4-plus threes, quarter stuff. But JY hit her to make 2 threes.
Betting, right? You can only bet the over.
Yeah.
Right, so just cautiously, I mean, anyone watching or listening, be careful with that because you're probably getting less than you should. But it tells me that somebody's doing the work to find out that we need to put this up. I'm impressed. I don't remember somebody coming in and dictating that type of action by a book. I don't.
I mean, that's, again, why it's so remarkable. Plus 350, by the way. And there are live player props on FanDuel. But, again, they are one-sided alt markets, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are actually more options than just Caitlin Clark. Nalissa Smith, Kelsey Mitchell, and Jewel Lloyd all have numbers as well. Davis Wright, cautious. But I will say, and maybe it's because we've been faced with the idea we're going to lose things. I'll live with anything, right? As somebody who did the live March Madness shows, if you would have taken away our live player props, that would have taken a lot of the juice out of our shows.
Right.
We were getting one-way alt markets, right?
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? We were in the mix. And I'll live with that if that's what it has to be. I have another question for you, sir. And this one could not be more up your alley. It involves what has to be your favorite baseball player at this point, and it involves the most Dave Sharapan price I've maybe ever seen.
Oh, my.
Paul Skeens.
What?
Paul Skeens is off to some start here, Dave.
Yep.
And he is moving in the NL Rookie of the Year market. He's down to 4-1. Jumped Yamamoto, and he pulled back that Imanaga number, who did get smashed by the Cubs the other day. Yet, on the FanDuel Sportsbook to win NL Cy Young, he has the same price as Austin Gomber of the Colorado Rockies at 200 to 1.
Kevin. All right. Thank you for telling me that. I had to put the listening glasses on for that. All right. Nobody's betting him to win the NL Cy Young. Now, despite your pleas and your well-thought-out argument and us doing this show and talking about it all over SiriusXM, SportsGrid TV, everything else, nobody's betting him to do that. They're betting him to win the NL Rookie of the Year. So the number has to come down. I know guys that are sitting on 20 to 1, 22 to 1. I'm surprised I didn't get a text from one of my buddies. He's probably very excited when he goes and logs in today, after Imanaga, like you said, gets beat up pretty good. You still think it's worth a shot at 200 to 1 just to say that you had the number?
So here is kind of the conversation that we've been having throughout our show tonight. If I told you I could beat a number, I promise you, but I can't win. There are people, Dave, in our business who will tell you your job is to just beat numbers. Well, if that is true, I promise you I can beat this number. Absolutely. I promise you I can beat this number. Yeah. He's not winning Cy Young. Now, I think one of the complicated things with some of these new books
is the cash out option. Because, Dave, if Skeens goes out there and is great again in his next start, do you think the number will move? Would you guess the number would move?
Only if somebody will bet it. Only if somebody will bet it. Because you have to put it out there and get the money at the price that it is or was before. I mean, you can start to inch it down, but if he goes and pitches 7 innings and gets another win with 12 Ks, I would argue it should be 175 to 1. We could be sitting in a room and I go, okay, Doug, you're right. Let's move it. Let's go to 175. But I ain't moving it to 100. I need to take bets.
See. I said this is the most Dave number I've seen. Here's why. The Dave Sharapan, who told me he wished he was in business to book Stanton bets for me, would take bets and make it a bigger number. Dave, 200 to 1, 200 to 1, FanDuel. Guess the DraftKings number. Two biggest books. Guess the DraftKings number.
150.
Try again. I'll give you a second crack at it.
100.
60 to 1.
Stop. That's why you got to shop. That's incredible.
But Dave. So that's why I told you I promise you I can beat the number, right? You can. Let's be honest here, okay? If me, you, fellas in the back, and all of you at home right now, all individually click 5 on Skeens, by the time the 7th out of us gets the bet in, it's moving. Probably, right? I guess is that what's happening? They're waiting for $20 of Paul Skeens 200 to 1 to come in?
Well, I mean, at $5, 200 to 1, that's a dime. If we get 20 people to do it in the next 10 minutes before the show's over, we have 10 dimes exposure in 10 minutes. Hello. Somebody better answer for that. It better move.
So, by the way, the max you can place on that is individually is 400, which is 80 grand, which is preposterous. We'll be right back. It's Game Time Decisions.
And now you have to qualify, and these majors, you got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for, so I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships. So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid.
Using the parlays against one another, right, and being able to get a little bit of juice consig, I found to be a little interesting.
Believe me, all the rhombuses and parallelograms are constantly trying to search and find out those things every day. It's one of the battles that you know, as you expand the menu, you encounter new battles.
Game Time Decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer, too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I look, I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York team has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
decisions. We're going to make one right now.
Let's go.
Paul Skeens to win NL Cy Young, 200 to 1.
Bam.
$25. And that's usually because, again, everyone's dollars are different. And I'm telling you this now as I place this bet. The goal is to cash out at profit. I don't want to be greedy about this. I am begging you, Dave, to make sure I am not. I am sitting here telling you right now, this is not going to win. I don't care if he throws a perfect game his next outing. We are cashing out.
From your lips to God's ears. Oh, that would be amazing. Wow. I'm going to text you every Skeens day, and we're going to check it after what he is before and what he is after every start.
Here is what I will tell people. If the cash outs are real, right? And if three of you out there click on Skeens, I truly think there's a world this number is halved by the next time he starts based on the fact it's 60 at the other big book in town.
Right.
I haven't looked everywhere else. Dave, do me a favor because you're good. Okay, and I'll ask a couple of other people. Just shop around. Tell me what you see out there.
100%. Gave me an assignment to do after the hockey game tonight. I'll be all over it. I'll get you 8 prices. You'll have it before you go to sleep tonight.
Sir, we can't appreciate your work enough. Because I might take the cash out before he starts the next game. Okay?
You will not. You will not. You will wait.
We're going to consider it. Hey, before you get out of here, anything baseball, hockey, NBA, anything?
Dog only in the basketball. I don't know what to do with the total. I've been a sucker for the under. You know we love the Dallas. Jack made me wear the Rangers stuff. It's a must-win for the Rangers. If they don't win tonight, the series is over in Miami on Saturday. Okay? The game's going under. That's all I got.
I don't mind that one bit. By the way, just to send you with this, if the Mavs win tonight, we need one road victory in the NBA Finals. Hello. And goodbye. Great stuff there from the Consig. As always, appreciate him stopping by. Great stuff tonight from, of course, Joe Madden, Coach James Young as well. Dave will be live with Joe Ranieri for an awesome live playoff hockey, playoff basketball. Mix it in that baseball card, W card as well. For me, what hasn't started yet, Yanks and Angels under 8.5 tonight, -120. That's your MLB play of the day. NBA, P.J. Washington over the 11.5, bounce-back style, rotating overs so far in this series. Big-time volume in Game 4. I think we could see more of the same in Game 5. I was tempted at the plus price on over 2.5 made threes. But again, if we're going to get to 3 threes, we should be able to get to 12 points. Let's get P.J. Washington over the 11.5. My 2 favorite bets, I think I like them equally. If you made me pick one, it's Luka and Ant, but come on now. It's Ant Edwards, it's Luka Doncic, it's over 58.5 combined. It's Karl Anthony Towns and Kyrie Irving over 4.5 made threes combined. For Ant and Luka, you have bounce-back spots kind of on the board for both. Anthony Edwards has yet to have a 50% plus field goal percentage game in this series. If it comes tonight, 35-40s on the board. Luka Doncic, a 33% from the field game in Game 4. Did not hit 30 points for the first time all season long against Minnesota. Let's include the regular season. He's been awesome against this basketball team. 35-40s in line for Luka. If either guy hits that marker, the rest should be clean, easily. And I think we could alt this. It's one of those nights, if you want. 65, 70, let's get crazy. Why not? It could be a big one here from the 2 top stars on their respective teams. But I also think Karl Anthony Towns and Kyrie step up from beyond the arc. Cat, while he was efficient, he only had 5 attempts. Foul trouble. Karl Anthony Towns, I think, can get you 8, 9 attempts from beyond the arc. A bad game is 2 makes, 3 makes. Could be 4, could be 5. Could do it on his own, truly. Kyrie Irving, 1 of 6 last game. That's bounce-back style here. He's been rotating great games in this series. We get a great one from Kai tonight. He might give us 4. Only going to need that on the other side. is one from Karl Anthony Towns. So that's how we knock it out in the NBA. Rangers, Panthers here. We have a same-game parlay. Do I have enough time to read it to the people? Mika Zibanejad is the goal scorer given out behind the scenes, front and center stage. SGP, Zibanejad for a point, Kachuk for a point, under alt 6.5, Rangers puck line plus 2.5. That's a sizzle. I'll see you Saturday.